go to my screen. Can you guys see that lesson 3.4 proportional reasoning? Do you guys see the handout there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so if you want to make that bigger, all you have to do is pin it. So go on my face or go on the face of this proportional reasoning and press pin. And it'll make it like your large screen instead of seeing me at the same time.
Make sure to pin what she's streaming, not what.
Yeah.
Not her face.
Don't
Yeah.
put
You can zoom in.
Yeah, so zoom in too, so that way you can see it. And then what I'll get you guys to do is mute your mics. And then if you guys have any questions, come back on for unmute yourselves, okay?
All right.
How do you mute yourself?
Mute yourself at the bottom. Go to your screen. It says turn off mic. So this button right there.
Wait, like should I turn off my actual microphone?
Yeah, your actual. No, just go to the mute. Just like, do you see how I'm on my screen? If I just click
down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. You guys are good. Okay. So the first example, we just want to learn how to proportionally reason something. This is called the method of like cross multiply and divide. So let's say we want to solve for x where we have a fraction equals a fraction. So what's going to happen is these two guys are going to multiply and these two guys are going to multiply. So for example, x multiplied by 50 will become 50x. So the number just goes in front of the variable. And then we have, let me make sure I'm recording here. Yeah, we're good. Then we want to go on the right side. So the right side will be the 10 multiplied by 40. So 10 times 40 is 400. Lastly, we have to get x by itself by dividing both sides by what is in front of x. So you can see that is dividing by 50 on both sides. So that gets us x by itself. So in your calculator, your little 400 divided by 50, and your answer is 8. So that's pretty much what we're doing. Okay, so I'll do another example just to kind of show you, and then we'll go on. So all I'm doing is I'm multiplying these two numbers and these two numbers together. So you created an x. So it's called cross multiplying. So 18 multiplied by x is 18x. Then in your calculator, you're going 27 times 36. I get, in my calculator, 972. Then to get rid of the value in front of x, you just have to divide, because right now they're multiplying. If you don't see anything between them, you're going to divide both sides by 18. So x equals, and then in your calculator, 972 divided by 18 gives me 54. And that's your answer. Okay? How's that? Easy, hard? What do you guys think?
It's kind of confusing.
Okay, so I'll do one where
I got it.
You got it? Okay, good.
Okay, let's slow it down a tiny bit.
Sure. Yeah, I can slow it down. Let's go to page 19 then, and I'll do those two examples on page 19.
All right, Captain.
Miss?
Yep.
Do you always divide or do you multiply sometimes?
Depends on what it's in this case. It's always going to be dividing because you're always going to have a multiplying thing with x. So in this cross multiplying divide method, you're always dividing.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why it's called cross multiply and divide. So first you multiply the x shape, and then you divide.
All right.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So step one, guys, for this example, you create your x shape. So there's my first guys. There's one side of my x, and there's my other side of my x. So by doing that, those guys multiply. So you're going to multiply 3 with 460, and that's going to go to the left side of your bracket because this 3 is on the top. Okay, so 3 is going to multiply by 460 in your calculator. So I get 1380. Then you have the equal sign between them. You're going to now multiply this with x. So 5 times x is 5x. Last step, always divide by the value in front of x. So you're going to divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 crosses itself off, leaving us with the left side that we put in our calculator. So you're going to put 1380 And then we're going to divide that number by 5. And you'll get 276. Let me see if anybody else is trying to get on. How's that, Ethan?
I understand that. Yeah, I understand some more.
Good. Okay. Let's do one more example and then we'll go on to the word problems. And so we just have to do a few word problems and then that's it for the lesson. I'll do some harder ones here. Okay. So this guy right here. So again, cross multiply and divide. So I multiply these guys together first. So in my calculator, I'm going 25 multiplied by 200 and I get 5,000. Then I put an equal sign. Then I multiply these two guys together to make that X shape. That's going to be 40 with X, 40X. Always divide by the number in front of X. So divide both sides by 40 to cross off the 40s. And then in your calculator, you'll put 5,000 divided by 40. And you'll get 125, and that's your answer. Good? Any questions, guys? No?
No, I'm good.
Perfect. Okay, so let's do a few word problems and then we'll go on to the harder kind of ones, the cross multiplying and dividing harder ones, and then that's it. So there is probably about 4 or 5 examples left, and then we're done for the class, okay? So let's start with this one. So this one is just about reading and creating a fraction. So we're trying to create the equation from reading the sentence. 1 Canadian dollar, so we start by writing 1 Canadian dollar is worth, so right underneath it, you're going to write what it's worth in British pounds. So it's equal to 0.5911 British pounds. So I'm just kind of describing it. Okay. Actually, I should use the symbol. I'll use the symbol that they have. This is their money symbol. Okay, so I know that 1 Canadian dollar is equivalent to 0.5911 pounds, okay? And then you put an equal sign in between. So that's step 1. Now, what you have to do is you have to create a fraction on the other side that lines up with what you have on the left side. So what are they giving you right here? They're giving you Canadian dollars. So where should that go? It should always line up to what you have on the left side. So if you have Canadian dollars on the top, you have to have Canadian dollars on the top as well for the other amount. So this amount that they're giving us is going to go on the right side at the top, only because we put Canadian dollars at the top as well. So Canadian dollars. Now, we don't know how many pounds that's equal to, so that's why we put an X. Because they're asking us, calculate how many pounds you're going to have. So that's why we set the variable to X. Okay, so once we have this, we don't need these symbols anymore. It was just kind of to help us. Okay, so all we need is the numbers. So now we're doing that cross multiplying and dividing. First, these guys are going to multiply together. 1 multiplied by X is just 1X, or you can just write X. So that's the left side. Now we multiply these two guys together in our calculator. So in your calculator, you're going to take 200 and multiply by 0.5911, and you get 118.22. Let me fix that. Lastly, always divide by the number in front of X, which is 1 in this case. So it won't change your answer. So I divide that by 1 and I get that that 200 Canadian dollars is actually equal to $118.22. It should be in pounds. So this is the symbol that I'm using instead of dollar sign. Okay, so that's the symbol for pounds. This guy right there. So we'll do 2 more of those guys just to kind of give you the hang of it, and then we'll go on to the harder kind of equation ones. Okay, so read the question. Okay, so it says John mixes fertilizer with 1 part powder to 14 parts water. So there I set up my fraction. So I have 1 part powder to 14 parts water. Okay, so that's all I do is I use that first sentence to create my fraction. And that's equal to, it says 3 liters of powder. So since I put powder at the top, you have to have powder at the top as well for your other fraction. So they're giving us 3 liters of powder. So we need to find out how much water does he need. That's what's missing. So whatever is missing is where you put your x. This is the hardest part, just setting this equation up. Now you have to multiply these 2 guys together. So 1 times x is just going to be x. You don't have to write the 1 in front of it. So that will save you actually time. And then your next step is to multiply these 2 guys together. So 14 times 3. So 14 times 3 gives me 42. So I don't have anything in front of x, which means that I don't have to divide. So I'm just going to have 42 liters of water. And that's what I just found. Okay, how's our understanding, guys?
Easy stuff, miss.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear. Ethan, how are you doing?
Oh, yeah, I forgot I was muted. I'm doing good.
Good? Perfect. Thanks. I'm just thinking here. Wyatt here, still Matthew, Joven, Ethan. Okay, good. Okay, number 5. Let's do this one, and then we'll move on to the harder ones, like 2 examples, and then we're good to go. Okay, so a car uses 5.5 liters of gas. So step 1, put 5.5 liters of gas, and I just describe it to make it easier for later on. And I know that I'm able to travel 100 kilometers on that. So that's the distance I'm able to travel. So once you have one fraction created, you go to the other side of the equal sign. How much fuel will you need for 400 kilometers? Since I put 400 kilometers at the bottom of my fraction, since I put kilometers at the bottom of the fraction for the first fraction, I have to put 400 at the bottom as well. So you always have to make sure that your units line up. So they always have to be across from each other for you to be getting the right answer, which means that x needs to go at the top because I don't have anything there. And then I just follow the same rules. These guys multiply together first. 5.5 times 400, which will be 2200. Sorry,
X go on the top.
Because 400 lines up with 100 kilometers. You see how like they're both kilometers?
Yeah.
So I had to put 400 there for them to line up. Just over here, I had to put powder at the top because I was given powder, right? Since I didn't know the gas amount that I can travel, that I can use for 400 kilometers, that's what I set X to. So I didn't know what that was.
Okay.
Because the question is, how much fuel will I need? So I don't know that.
Right.
Miss,
Good?
how long is this?
This lesson?
Yeah.
There's like 5 more minutes.
And then we can leave?
Then you can leave.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so just suck it up for 5 more minutes and then you're good to go, okay? So what's, now we multiply these guys together. So what's 100 times x?
100x.
Perfect. And then lastly, always divide anything in front of x. So we need to divide 100 to both sides. So get rid of that 100 by dividing both sides by 100. And then you're putting 2200 in your calculator and dividing it by 100. So I get that x equals 22. So that's how many liters of gas I'm going to need to travel 400 kilometers. So that's what I just found. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, let's do something like this, and I'll show you how easy these ones are too. Okay, so sometimes they'll give you a chart. So if you guys look, they're giving us a chart, and they're telling us that we need to convert kilometers to miles. Okay, so do you guys see any kind of kilometers to miles here on the chart? Do you guys see a conversion between miles and kilometers, or kilometers to miles?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one right here. So all you do is from the chart, you write 1 mile is equivalent to 1.609 kilometers. So that's my first fraction. Then they tell us kilometers. They're giving us kilometers. So that means it has to go at the bottom of the fraction for them to line up. See, so kilometers are at the bottom on the left side, which means that kilometers have to be on the right side as well. So you're going to put 175 kilometers because that's given. Now they want to find out miles, so we have to put the X at the top this time. And then just like before, we multiply these guys together first. 1 times 175 is 175. And then these guys together. So that's going to be 1.609x. What do I do to get x by itself, guys?
You have to divide it by itself.
Yeah, divide by that 1.609, okay, on both sides. So what I do to the right side, I do to the left side, and then I just put that in my calculator to get my answer. And then we'll move on to one more example after this one. So you should get 108 point. It wants us to answer to the nearest tenth. The tenth means one number after the decimal. So I have like 76, which means I round to an 8. And that's going to be in miles. Good. So I use the chart to create my first fraction. And then what I'm given in that sentence, that question, that's what I put at the bottom because kilometers have to line up. And then my unknown is always x. Okay, so these are the same. These are all the same ones. Okay, I'll just leave that up here for a second if you have to copy that down. Good. Okay, which one do you guys think looks the hardest here? For number, we're on question, it's like right after 12.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's A.
Yes, I think it's A too. Okay, so same kind of rules apply. You want to multiply. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. This is like the last question before it says extra practice. So this is question number 8. We multiply these two guys together first. You see that? So these guys are going to multiply first together. These two. Oops. This with this. So what's 5 times 5, guys? So what I'm doing is I'm multiplying just these two guys together first. 5 times 5 is?
5 times 5 is like 10?
Nope.
No.
25.
25. Good.
Yeah.
So multiply those guys together, and then the bracket just follows. So all I did was I multiplied the 5 times 5 to make my life a little easier, and then x plus 2 follows along. So that's the left side of the equation. Now, I go to the right side of my equation. These two guys are going to go together. So just like on the left side, I'm going to always try to multiply these kind of low numbers together first. So 3 is going to multiply with 9 to get me to 27.
I was just like 27.
Yep. And then x minus 2 is following along. So this guy just kind of drags along. See where I got those numbers from, guys? Okay, once we get to this point, we're going to distribute. 25 is going to go into the brackets by multiplying, and 27 is going to go into the bracket by multiplying. So 25 multiplied by x is 25x. 25 times 2 is going to be 50. So 25 times 2 is 50. Then you go to the right side of the equation. 27 times x is 27x. And what's 27 times negative 2? So you'll get negative 54. Now, this is common to what we did in the last few lessons. Remember how we want to bring the x's on one side together and the numbers on the other side. So this is where I do that like line to divide it. And I'm going to start by bringing everything to the right side, like the x's to the right side. So that means I'm going to subtract 25x on both sides. Okay, so that's step one. These guys cross each other off. 50 is just going to drag itself down. What's 27 minus 25? Anyone?
2.
2x, good. And then we have minus 54. We're almost there. We just have to get x by itself. So now we're going to add 54 on both sides. So add 54 because you're always doing the opposite sign to both sides of the equation. So these guys cross each other off now. So your last step is to write 2x equals 50 plus 54 would add to 104. And then always when we have a number in front of x, we need to divide both sides by 2 in this case. So in my calculator, I'm going 104 divided by 2. And I get 52 is my answer. Okay, so if that makes sense to you guys, you can enjoy the rest of your day. If you want to practice some more, there's some extra practice questions at the bottom. If you want to see maybe 2 or 3 more examples, you can stay on. But if you feel like you understand this stuff, you're more than welcome to continue on your day, guys. Thanks for joining me. So don't forget to join me tomorrow, and then Wednesday you guys have off. Okay, so it'll be quick lessons, so that way you don't miss out on the information. Okay.
Miss.
Yeah.
Do our other teachers give us classes online too, or?
I don't know. You'll have to message your teachers.
How long are we online for?
Like you just have to. It's up to you guys. It's just about like if a teacher sends you stuff to do, you just got to get it done right, so that you don't fall behind.
How long will we be like doing this stuff for?
Oh, this week, for sure. This week, this entire week.
All right.
Okay, so like for me, you don't have to worry because as long as you join in on the Google Meets here that we do, then you'll be fine. You won't miss anything, right? But if for your other classes, you got to make sure that you contact your teachers and ask them what work you're missing and get that done over this week.
Miss?
Yeah.
Will joining Google Meet bring my markup in any way?
Well, if you know this stuff, it will. Because then when you have like an assessment, I give you a test coming up next week, you'll be able to do this stuff.
Okay, but not joining, does that affect my attendance in any way?
Well, no, but you'll miss out on the information. Like this, if you look, guys, this took us like 20 minutes, right? 25 minutes.
Just come to class, Joe.
Yeah, word up.
Just do it, suck it up, and then you can enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, fair enough.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye, Miss.
See ya.
Okay.
If anybody wants to stay and do some more practice, Ethan, do you want to see another example or are you good?
I don't want to hold a board game on my lap and write on the because that's what I'm using to write it down. So I want to like let go of that before I have to.
Do you want me to like? Do you want to watch me do like 2 more examples, and then that way you can like go back and write it down? Because remember, I'm gonna post this recording, so that way you can like go back and record or write down anything you missed.
Oh, all right, yeah. I'll
Okay.
stay for a few and then I'll write it down.
Okay, so remember what you're doing is you're multiplying these guys together. Oops. So these 2 guys are going to multiply together. So I'm going to have 4. Let me write in a better color. 4 has to multiply with 7x minus 3. I put brackets because that's one chunk that I have to multiply 4 with, right? And then on the right side, these 2 guys are going to have to multiply together. So like 5 with 5x plus 3. Anytime you have a single number multiplying, you just put it in front of the brackets. So that's what it looks like. Okay, so I'm multiplying 4 with 7x minus 3. That's that pink. And the yellow was 5 multiplying with 5x plus 3. And then I distribute. This goes into the brackets. This guy goes into the brackets. So 4 multiplied by 7 is 28x. 4 multiplied by -3 is -12. Okay, so you can use your calculator for those. And that's the left side of the equation. 5 multiplied by 5x would be 25x. And then 5 times +3 would be +15. Good? So this is where I want to get the x's together on one side. So this is where I like to draw that line. And I want to say, okay, well, I'm going to bring the x's on the left side because there's more x's here than on the right. So I'm going to start by subtracting 25x on the left and the right. These guys cross each other off because they're the same symbols, same numbers, but wrong sign, right? And then we have 28 take away 25x. So 28 take away 25x would be 3x minus 12 equals +15. Now we're going to add 12 on both sides because we want to get x by itself. So we're going to add 12 here and 12 on the right. So those guys cross each other off. So you're left with 3x on the left. On the right, you should have 15 plus 12, which is 27. So I added 15 plus 12 to get 27. The last step is to divide both sides by 3. So once I divide 27 by 3, I get that the answer, because x is by itself now, is 9. How is that? Does that make sense, Ethan? I can hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have an actual mic, and so like I muted the mic itself.
Oh, I see.
I have myself on here. But yeah, I understand it.
That's good. No issues.
Yeah.
Do you want to see another example, or are you feeling confident?
I'm feeling confident.
Perfect. Okay, so what you want to do is kind of like go through and maybe pick out, like here in this extra practice, you pick out like 2 or 3 questions, like pick out like 2 from the easy ones, because like question number 1 and 2 are the easy ones. And then question 3 is the harder one. These ones right there are the harder ones. So pick out one there.
All right.
And then pick out like a word problem. There's like 5, 6, or 7. Pick one word problem to see if you can do. If you chose to do this one, you have to use that chart above. So use the chart from above, you know, where it's like converting meters to feet. You have to look for that conversion first.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And when they say each basketball uniform, that means that one basketball uniform, one of them, 1 versus 1.5 meters. So it'd be like something like this.